I've had many different types of businesses, and this is by far the most successful and easiest one that I've ever done.
The business model is fantastic. I enjoy it. It gives you the lifestyle. It gives you the opportunity to meet different people.
The idea of the business is we go out and do a quote, win the job, and then draft it up, get plans, permits done, and then organise the builder to go and complete the project.
You get to spend a bit of time out on the road. You get to spend some time with the builders, which can be a bit of fun, with customers, and of course you get to spend some time just doing a bit of thinking and planning and directing your own future.
I saw Brian running this part of the business. Brian owned this franchise. He was working 1 to 2 days a week and making a living out of it. And I thought, if he can do that, and I work 5 days a week, I can quite easily make a living.
I've done teaching, I've done university work, I've done retail, McDonald's. I used to manage McDonald's, I used to manage Safeway supermarket. I tell you what, that was hard work. Where was Mr. Carports 20 years ago when I started my career? But now this is fantastic.
But through the 12 months I ended up making a reasonable income out of it. I learnt a great deal out of it and had a lot of good support, made a lot of good friends through it. In my latter 6 months now I'm starting to find that I'm making some decent income, and it's just getting easier by the day and more fun.
Previously I was a financial planner, and that's very mundane. It's very sales oriented though, and there's that comparison with Mr. Carports.
Well, before Mr. Carports I was actually a carpenter on the tools, and this is a lot easier obviously because I'm not doing any physical work.
It's probably one of the few businesses that you could get involved in at the cost of a franchise and make the sort of money you can out of it. Most other businesses, they'd want twice as much or more to even be looking at the sort of returns you'll get out of this.
I'm so glad I took Mr. Carports, because the amount of money I put into it to buy a branch, it was almost, I recovered that within months, not even a year.
Setting the business up is probably the most expensive exercise at the start, because you've got a fair few initial costs going out, but once it's up and running, it's a very good model to work with.
You do radio advertising and everything else. That's one of the biggest costs. The next costs are your car, your phone, etc. But they're reasonably low, and you can keep them as low as you can.
The overheads I've maintained to a minimal by subcontracting the building work, the manual work. The bills only come in if you have business, so really it suits me down to the T, because if I don't make any business this month, I don't have to pay any bills.
The business in a nutshell is nothing without the computer program, I would say. That seems to be the biggest advantage of being able to engineer things on site.
When I first came into the company, the program was good and I was impressed by it. But since then we have made so many changes, or the company has made so many changes into the program.
The way the program works is you enter information in the computer, such as the size of the structure. The computer will tell you if you're using the correct materials,
and it'll then do all the calculations for you, and you've got a choice. You can manipulate a little bit just to sort of like suit yourself or suit the customer.
The program also does all the engineering for the beams,
which allows us to calculate if there are some complicated spans and situations that we really need a bit of confirmation on.
And then after that you've got the installation program, so you work out exactly what the installer's going to get, and the cutting list. It works out all the materials for you.
Then generates you a total price of the material that you're using. Then again, it also adds on the profitability that you need to generate out of the business, out of that particular job, and gives you a total price.
Useful also, of course, for the council aspect, that they can see partially the engineering already being done for us, and it gives us out what we need to put into the council.
Information for the builder when he's building it, just covers everything that you need to know about it.
It's extremely difficult to explain all the elements of the program in a short clip like this, but it is fantastic, I tell you what.
I can do price increases of, say, let's say BHP and put their prices up by 9%. I can do that very quickly, and it then reflected in all jobs.
Within the construction page there is an element which helps you in generating a schematic that you can straight away show to the client what your structure is going to look like.
So it really streamlines a lot of tedious work that you might have to do and break down and do yourself. It's all there at press of a button.
If we didn't have this program, we could still run a business. It wouldn't be anywhere near as good, and the lifestyle wouldn't be as good. The joy of the program is that I can do a quote whilst I'm at the site, whilst I'm doing the first measure up, I do the quote, and I walk away, the monkey's off my back. I don't have to work till midnight like other people do.
The computer program does give you a big advantage because it takes a lot less time to work out a quote.
The very fact that we turn up when we say we turn up almost guarantees us 30% of the work that we're going to. People are just staggered that people turn up.
The customer's impressed. They actually look at the program as it works. I let them sit next to me and watch it.
The customer can get a very good view of the project that's going to go into the backyard or in the front yard or whatever the case may be.
That blows their mind because most people they deal with in the building industry, they're lucky if they even see them again. Or they get a price on the back of a Weet-Bix packet and things. And
a lot of times they will sign up then and there on the spot because they're so impressed. The program makes you look good.
And people are just staggered because they're not used to getting that level of service within the building industry. They all hear the horror stories and they've all lived through them.
Building skills, do you need them? No, you don't, because I didn't have any. And I consider myself as a successful branch.
I always wanted to get myself involved in the building industry. I never had any trade skills or anything like that, but I did like building. This was an excellent opportunity to come in at a good level.
It's not necessary to have started with a building background. Some of the most successful people actually haven't.
All my knowledge in the building industry is acquired knowledge.
We don't really have staff other than ourselves and the subcontractors, so again that saves you all of the headaches of superannuation details.
It takes that pressure off you that you're not always thinking about, we've got to find X amount of work because you've got X amount of families to feed. Because in reality, if we don't have any jobs on, the builders go and work for one of the other branches.
The lifestyle with Mr. Carports is good because it gives me time to drop the kids off at school at 9 o'clock in the morning and do whatever I have to do and pick them up at night time if required.
In my previous business, I was spending 80% of my time on flights, sitting in flight decks. It's not good. You need to be with your family.
So you can work your hours and your lifestyle around being efficient, being organised.
You will work probably 40 hours a week, maybe 50, but you'll have the time off that you need to. For example, Wednesday afternoons is golf afternoon for me. Don't bother calling me because you won't get me.
I would say on average about 40 hours a week, but I can compact that into 3 or 4 days or spread it over 7 days. It doesn't really matter. You can really program your own week.
Family is far more important than your work. This business earns you enough money to be able to do that.
The other thing I like about it is the cash flow system where we do get paid up front for materials. We're
one of the few businesses I would know of whereby we're actually paid up front, particularly in the building area.
In this business, you always get paid.
You have your customers paying you on delivery of the material.
Another advantage of Mr. Carports that I really liked was the fact that you don't carry any stock. You order materials as and when they're required to be delivered to the customer's premises.
The built-in reporting systems are good because they just help keep you on track as to how your business is running.
It makes you go through, look at where the money's outstanding, and you see where you're spending your money and what you're doing, and it gives you a better feel for where you're at any given time. And you could do that on a daily basis or a weekly basis.
The system has worked just about to the same as what my accountant has given me as final figures.
And because we give us 10-year structural guarantee, we have to make sure that the quality of the products is there and we stand by them.
When I'm talking to the subbies, the motto we have is we never want to go back.
We would be well in the high 90%, so very, very satisfied customers.
We have terrific recommendation. We've got excellent builders. We use top quality materials. We sell only on quality.
Generally, it's been a very satisfying, successful business for me. I quite enjoy what I'm doing, and I continue to enjoy it more.
Each job you do teaches you a little bit more, and it gets easier and easier as you go along.
I reckon 10 years down the track we should have at least 22 branches in Victoria. We have got the population and strength.
The bottom line is that within 1 month of starting this business, I was the highest selling Mr. Carports franchisee. It's easy.